Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Why Ukraine live stream. I'm James. Welcome, welcome to the Why Ukraine live stream. Awesome. My sound is working. That's great. Thanks, everybody who's here. I'm glad you're here. Like I said, I'm James, and my power is just about to switch off here in Ukraine. It's scheduled to switch off at 6 p.m., they said. So welcome everybody who's come today. Just wanted to thank you all. I spent the last 45 minutes running extension cables all over my house here because I have battery, but it's not like for the whole house. It's just for my internet, and it's upstairs. And so you guys, if you hear like a beep, like beeping, that will be my battery backup that I have here in this room, and there's no way to shut off the beep. I'm terribly sorry. But here we are 2 minutes in, and I still have power. So who knows? Who knows? Yeah. You're right, Real Dave Seaman. I need an intro. First of all, I want to thank everyone who is here today. Cheer Khan, Real Dave Seaman, Nikki Hill, Ken, Bell. Oh, you got a new name. Cool. It wasn't me. I believe that. Why the people? It's great. It's great that you're all here. Silver Earth. Thank you all for coming. Today I want to talk about this proposal today that is going before the U.S. Congress. You guys probably know I don't think very highly of Lindsey Graham, but this other senator, Dick Blumenthal, he's pretty good. He's pretty awesome. This is after the Herb, thanks for coming. And Nikki, it's good to see you. This is possibly the most important bill that Congress has passed. Well, it's certainly the most important bill that Congress has passed since approving Ukraine aid, the $60 billion. This could have an incredible effect. I think a lot of people don't understand how important it is that Russia be declared a state sponsor of terrorism. UWN, James is on time, which is pretty strange. And Belle, congratulations on your husband, I guess. I hope it all goes well. Yeah, Belle giving all the singles hope again. This is an incredible. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some of you think this is just kind of like a resolution or like an honorary award you get for being horrible. But no, in American law, this is going to have a massive effect. And so look, I know some of you organized like with Tridents Against Tyrants and various other YouTubers and online forums to push this, or I'm sorry, to push the Ukraine aid bill. This, I would dare say, is equally as important to, or at least almost as important as that Ukraine aid bill was. This is going to have a potentially a massive effect, and we need to do call your congressman, talk to your senator, whatever it takes, because look, just in case you don't know, those of you who are not Americans, there are very few state sponsors of state terrorism under American law. Iran, Korea, North Korea, I should say. Let's see. U.S. sponsors of state terrorism list. Let's see if I can learn how to spell list and terrorism. Okay. There are 4 countries designated under these authorities: Cuba, North Korea, Iran, and Syria. And that's it. And they are completely cut off economically. In fact, if you try to do any business, if you are a United States citizen and you try to do any business with those countries, you can go to jail. Okay? Not only that, but foreign companies who do business with those countries can be prosecuted or sanctioned. The effect that this will have, you really just can't imagine. How? Yeah, and also all of them support Russia, exactly, and are supported by Russia. So getting Russia on that list, okay. So this is a good article. It's on pravda.com.ua, but there's you can look up lots of other information about this. Prohibits U.S. aid to such countries, prohibits arms export, obviously, and the Export Control Act is a big thing. So these the consequences are really important, and I think they're symbolic and diplomatic, blah blah blah. But the most important is it will be illegal for individuals and legal entities, for U.S. individuals and legal entities. There goes my power, by the way. To have any financial dealings with the Russian government. This gives rise to the blocking of all state-owned banks and state-owned enterprises of the Russian Federation and people connected with the state. It also entails tighter export control over a broader list of goods in trade between countries. There's still a lot of things that Russia is trading on with the United States and on international markets. And it wasn't me. What is this sword of truth? Michelle, you must tell me about this sword of truth business. I want to know. And the secondary sanctions, so this is also really important. So banks that do business, U.S. banks that will be prohibited from doing business with other banks that do business with Russia. So it really, I mean, I know that we've had all of these sanctions slowly being ratcheted down, but this is something that really, really needs to happen. The addition of Russia to the Financial Action Task Force list, an intergovernmental organization that develops and implements measures and standards to combat money laundering at an international level. So that gives the government, the U.S. government, some authority to, anybody who's getting money from Russia, Jackson Hinkle, Scott Ritter, to name a couple, all of these shell companies and hidden trusts and things, which is exactly what ISIS, for example, used and uses to move money around. Um, these things, passing this law, passing this resolution would give the United States authority to hunt financial authority within the United States to hunt down those, all of the Russian yachts and the uh, real estate that's held in trust by 6 levels of shell companies. Um, that is that's the sort of thing that this would enable the American legal system to really go after. And yeah, why do people? We may not get another very clear violation of international law to justify this action as if it isn't done now. To be honest with you, when you said that the terrorist state should have been identified 2 years ago, yes. But to be honest, this is where Putin is really shooting himself in the foot. Russia sabotage attacks. Yeah, this whole thing that Russia is doing with these sabotage attacks in Europe and possibly even in the they're very clearly, and they're going to keep on doing that stuff. They continue to do that. These, as it says here, brazen sabotage campaign, and when it starts stepping over into the United States, then that becomes a whole other kettle of fish. Okay, paywall, go away. I don't have time for this, people. The point is, this is an incredibly important thing, and I recommend you all read this particular article on pravda.com.ua. There's lots of U.S. sources that talk about. So this, being put on the FATF blacklist means the correspondent accounts of Russian banks would be blocked around the world, including in China. This is not just a restriction on the technology for transmitting financial messages. It is actually a black mark for the entire banking system. That is, no financial transaction transfer technologies can be used. Chinese banks would have to terminate their correspondent relationships with Russian banks, and to some extent they have done that. But this is much more extensive. Judicial executive sovereign immunity, or the real possibility of Russian Federation being brought to justice in the courts of other countries. It's okay. Let's see here. This is what I wanted to explain. In practice, this will allow U.S. citizens, servicemen, and officials to claim and receive compensation in U.S. courts for Russia's actions in Ukraine, including through the forced seizure of Russian assets. Okay. Oh yeah, Real Dave Seaman. I can always get around paywalls, but it's about, do I want to take the time to do that right now when I'm running a live stream? This is really super important here. So here they give a good example. The family of an American citizen who was killed by the Russian military in Ukraine will be able to go to court in the United States and obtain a judgment awarding compensation for this crime, and this money will be recoverable in the United States from Russian assets. Think about all of the Americans who've been killed by under Russia's illegal war. So it's an illegal war, right? That's a key thing. Yes, they were fighting in a war and they could die, and everybody knows that. But it was an illegal war to begin with. Okay? That's why this is so powerful. Those, I'm talking about Tony and his family. Their family his family could seek compensation. How much Russian wealth is held hidden? I'm not talking about the 300 billion that's in Euroclear or whatever. How much Russian wealth is held hidden in all sorts of different Russian assets? It says here 30 billion worth of Russian assets are currently frozen, but I guarantee that under these laws, they'll be able to find a lot more. A lot more. Yes, exactly. It would be cool to have an NGO to help truly destitute victims get compensation. I mean, think about like Matt, for example. The volunteer here in Ukraine. He came. I interviewed him like 3 times, and he had a seizure on my live stream. Okay, he came back to America with literally nothing, 0% of zero. Okay, and he's trying to get health care, and his parents are taking care of him, thank God. But he shouldn't have to go through that. Just like American veterans, although I know it's not a perfect system, that there is a system for veterans benefits. There needs to be the same thing for veterans of this war, and this is one way to provide that. And you're right, it would be cool to have an NGO to help truly destitute victims get compensation. UWN. It's on my list. Those of you who've read my list know it's on there. But in fact, there are like George Clooney. Now this is from a couple weeks ago, so you guys probably know about this. Kind of cool. His wife, Amal, which I don't usually think too much. I don't consider celebrities all too serious. I appreciate their help, but sometimes. But this is awesome. Okay. I don't know. This is kind of a bad translation here. The Foundation of American actor George Clooney, his wife Amal for Justice. I don't think that's the name of the foundation, but yeah, as I said. So they're working with Andrei Yermak, which a lot of people here in Ukraine don't like, but there we are. They accuse him of being a Russian spy, which is kind of funny. Well, UWN, thank you. I love you too. So he's basically suing, going around. Their foundation is working to sue Russians accused of war crimes. There are different governments, like in Germany, for example, where a war crime, it doesn't matter where the war crime is committed, it can be prosecuted in Germany, even though it took place in Ukraine. Okay. And there are other countries that have those laws as well. I don't have the list off the top of my head, but it exists. I'm pretty sure. Now, one other thing that, and this is stated here, the McFall-Yermak group has been working with our partners to ensure that Russian propagandists, also guilty of inciting hatred and promoting the Russian war against Ukraine, are subject to sanctions. This has been oh boy! You look this up. Just look up, George Clooney, Russia. Okay, and oh my God, all of the Russian propaganda pages, RT, and there's lots of others, are all up in arms about this, and they say, this is the Moscow Times, but look how they phrase it though. George Clooney denies plans to seek arrest of Russian journalists. It's here they say to ensure that Russian propagandists, and here they're saying, and the Moscow Times is saying Russian journalists. Now I know that the Moscow Times usually has pretty good coverage, but that's how the Russian media is covering it. That George Clooney is going after Russian journalists who support Moscow's war in Ukraine. That's not what was said. Instead, it's Russian propagandists. But apparently, Russians can't tell the difference. So the Clooney Foundation had to come out with this statement. We at the Clooney Foundation would never go after journalists, even if we disagree with them. In fact, we have a long track record of protecting journalists. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. When this law, if this law gets passed, state sponsor of terrorism law, it won't be George Clooney going after these propagandists. Okay? It won't be him. It'll be a lot of people, and the FBI besides. So we all have to look forward to that. Okay, and this is why I'm saying. By the way, thanks to everybody who's just joining now. Leslie, Catherine, Manu. It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I have no idea if there are other live streams happening. I just didn't have time to check. I did. I tried to get in the middle when Rick the Ukrainian is not going. You know, that's a tall order. Between his Azov rally and Free Azov rally and his regular fundraiser, I try to squeeze in there. And we'll just go today until I run out. Well, I think I have enough battery for a regular, because I got everything all hooked up. I got, like I said, I have extension cables running all over the house, from upstairs all the way to downstairs and all over the place. By the way, can you guys hear the beeping from my battery? Oh, Sakai's later? Okay. Good to know. Yeah, let me know if the beeping from my battery is bothering you. So, yeah, you know, I think that this, you know, Russia coming out with these accusations against Clooney, you know, shows how much they actually really do fear that, you know, fear that power. So, because these things keep happening, these war crimes keep happening, you know, and here's just more documentation how Russia is militarizing Ukrainian children, you know, brainwashing them. And here you go. There's the pictures of the war criminals involved right here. And these people need to be brought to justice. And I don't just mean tried in absentia, you know. Russia cannot be allowed to exist. It can't be allowed to protect these people and all the other ones. Okay, you do hear the beeping, but it's not terrible. Okay, great. Thank you. Aha. Leslie, I need a video I can share on the shitter for the car fundraiser. Not just a link. People won't watch if it's a link. Okay, Leslie, thank you very much for that. That is great. And yes, really, Seaman, thank you for nag me about that later. I can put a video together for that. That is fantastic. Yeah, I can totally do that. And I might even, for the car, I literally spent like 30 minutes talking to this guy, Casey, today. And by the way, just so you know, we've got we have 4 actually persons who have purchased raffle tickets to buy a truck, which is amazing, you guys. It says 3, but one person paid through PayPal, and that I have to update that manually, so I haven't done that yet. So somebody bought 2 more tickets. I believe that was Cheryl Watley, as I recall. And I can't remember everyone who purchased tickets, but I do remember Sher Khan and just everybody who's putting forward to that. Thank you so much. And I realize that this is getting partially covered by my. I'm going to move this over here. Oh my god! Now you guys get to see how many icons I have on my desktop. It's terrible. It's really awful. Yeah, let's move it over there. Now you can all see. So if you happen to be watching on your phone, or no, well, you wouldn't do it on your phone, but if you happen to be watching and you want to scan this code for the PayPal, and also there's my PayPal address, and Leslie, thank you for that suggestion. That's a really good one. By the way, I want to let you know that this unit, okay, these guys, they are also going out and sending links to this to all of their friends and relatives. Okay, so some of the people who have bought tickets to buy these guys a car might have been, some of their friends, or a truck rather. So just to let you know, this is the kind of truck we're going to purchase, probably like about 3,000, maybe 3,500 bucks once all the fees get paid and everything. And the winner, there will be multiple winners. We're looking at 11 or 12 winners right now. So the first winner is going to get this flag signed by the entire unit. And by the way, this is, if you were wondering who this is, kissing the cat. He was like, I can't believe you posted the picture of me kissing a cat. But I was like, yeah, people love cats, man. As I was saying, so it's not just for one prize, it's for multiple prizes. So we're just going to keep drawing from the raffle until all of the until all of the postcards and flag are gone. So you'll get a signed flag or a signed postcard from one of these guys, and it's pretty awesome. So why do people? Yeah, that's because Real Dave Seaman has a different. A lot of people have different Discord names than their YouTube name. It confuses me all the time. It's always throwing me off. So anyway, yeah, definitely. And then the other thing that we are doing also, and I saw that some of you have purchased antennas and different supplies for the secret drone lab near the front lines that I visited 2 weeks ago. Ithil Ambar. I try to limit the number of things that we're doing because I know it gets a little bit crazy. And we are a small group here, but well, it is what it is. I can't control the needs in this war, unfortunately. But so this all I can do is just urge you, if you're in America, maybe we need to talk to Tridents Against Tyrants and some other people about setting up some online petitions, calling senators, doing that whole thing again, because I think it really does make a difference. I think that those of us who signed petitions and sent emails and all of those things really did make a difference. And I think it's really important because I got to tell you that this whole thing with with funding, really shook a lot of Leslie, thank you. Thank you so much. Um, but yeah, so this whole thing really shook a lot of Ukrainians, with going 7 months without help from the United States. And we can see that. I can see that just in the people who I speak to every week. Oh my gosh, I need to fix my screen. I'm sorry. There we go. That's better. We can see that in the people who I speak to every week. Um, who, I mean, they were shaken. The resolve of the Ukraine's people was was really shaken, and um, it's very interesting. This is the most recent survey I could find, and actually, it might have been, I can't remember where I saw it first. It might have been Jonathan, ATP Geopolitics, uh, talking about this survey about how Ukrainians feel about the war right now. And this is extremely interesting to me because the what do you say? The assumption that most Ukrainians have is that, oh, the older generation, they're all corrupt. Most of them support Russia, or a large percentage of them. And I know, I have plenty of Ukrainian uh, friends who I've spoken to who they say, yeah, I don't even speak to my mother anymore because, even though she lives in like Mykolaiv or something, she still supports Russia, or grandfather, what have you. But to me, this is very surprising and really interesting. Um, that so the statistics here are, uh, the first one is Ukraine is winning the war right now. 54% of older people believe that's true. So a majority of people above the age of 60. 65% of older people believe the war will last less than 2 years. From 2 years from now. So this was taken in March of 2024. So that's pretty optimistic, I would say. 60% of older people are still saying that Ukraine should fight until it liberates all territory to the 1991 borders. Now, that is a big change from 2022, 2023. Okay. That is a serious reduction. The majority of young people don't believe we should fight that much. We should fight that far. And I really think this is something about people in the ages between 18 to 25. They're not fighting in this war yet, for the most part. Yes, Cheryl, if Yermak was a Russian spy, Zelensky would be dead by now. Yeah. Yeah. But I still occasionally talk to a Ukrainian who is insistent that, but that's Ukrainian politics. Yeah. So this these younger people are going, oh my God, I don't want to fight in this war. So no, I don't want to fight until uh but they are pretty pessimistic. They think this war is going to go on and on. They believe that they are going to get caught up in it. And there's more of them who believe that maybe we should just negotiate and call it now because they don't want I mean, now to me, I think that those people who believe that are ungrateful cowards. There, I said it. But um everyone has different circumstances, and I would temper that general statement with saying that I know some of these people are my students, and I understand their position at the same time. So it's a little bit of both sidesism from me. But this is also this is also very interesting here. Support for different scenarios to end the war. So, of course, everybody agrees with the idea of Russia withdraws troops from all occupied territories. Just just for the heck of it. Uh, okay, Herb. Yeah, I fear if war were to come to America today, the young folks have absolutely no idea of patriotism or nationalism. Yeah, and we could think about what killed that. You could blame it on the internet. I personally would blame it on George W. Bush Jr. Um, starting an unnecessary war that ended up doing nothing. But you may disagree. I think the reasons that I hear from Ukrainian young people is they talk about corruption. They talk about how our oligarchs and politicians' children aren't going to have to go to war and all of that. But some of that is excuses. I mean, I feel like they should be grateful. Free healthcare, free or almost free education here, and they think they take it for granted. They take it for granted. And then some of them, occasionally I talk to some of them that have gone to the United States, and they're like, oh, okay, I see. You don't automatically get free healthcare or free education, you know. Yeah, do those younger Ukrainians really think a negotiated solution with Russia would lead to a lasting peace? Ukrainians are, unfortunately, for better or for worse, are not known for thinking long term. You ask any Ukrainian, and they'll tell you, "How can I think long term?" You know, things here in Ukraine, things are changing constantly all the time, and have been since 1991, mostly for the worse. Is what a Ukrainian would tell you. So I can't think long term. Um, yes, Leslie, to negotiate now would mean all those that died was for nothing. And in a couple of years, Russia's just going to come back, probably about the same time when those 18 to 25-year-olds are now actually eligible to be uh, uh, drafted. But yeah, Shere Khan, it is imperative that they don't give up. That's exactly right. But you can imagine when you're living in the middle of it, it's hard to. It's hard. Um, so so let's keep on going down this list. Russia withdraws troops only from the territories occupied since 2022. 43%. That basically means giving up Donbass and Crimea. So 46% do not support that. 43% do. So there's, we're talking about overall Ukraine society, all ages, all regions. They're almost evenly divided. Now, should we just give up Donbass and Crimea and just say, screw it, you take them? We don't want them anyway. Is it worth it? Right? And especially again when we're looking at not getting funding. And remember that this poll was taken in March, okay, which was March and April were probably the scariest times. March, April, maybe May. I feel like things started to change around May. So I'll be interested to see what a new poll looks like now or in a few months from now. And but I can tell you from speaking to Ukrainians, they're always shocked at how optimistic I am. They're like, "Why?" When I tell them that Ukraine is such a great country and I think Ukraine's going to be like the California of Europe and all of this other stuff, they're like, "What's this guy smoking?" Usually. Leslie. Wow, I just realized that was a super chat and I saw it. Leslie, thank you for that super chat. Or is it this? No, it's oh, I see. I get messages from members and they pop up green. Oh, anyway, whatever. I don't know. Guys, do me a favor. Send me a like the cheapest super chat you can, and then tell me that you're sending a super chat so that I can see if it pops up on my screen when people say, because I don't usually encourage people to send super chats. I'd prefer that people, if you're going to donate, even if you're going to give money directly to me, buy something awesome off of my site or donate directly to the um buy one of these things off the Ukrainian army. But just as an experiment, one of you try that, please, because I'm not sure that super chats work correctly with my Restream software. Anyway, I apologize. Okay. Uh, so yeah, this is pretty interesting here. Hostilities are ceased and the war is frozen at the current front line. So we have a large majority of people who do not support that. Okay. Um, and also, you not okay. Okay. So I do see it. All right. Thank you. All right. I apologize for I did, okay, you guys. You don't have to send a bunch of super chats now. Thank you very much, K Bell, Shirkan, Ken, and Nikki. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right. So I do see them. I just wanted to find out if that actually works. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay. Uh, okay, Miriam. Thank you. The reason I don't encourage super chats a lot all the time is because YouTube takes like 25 or 30% of that, which I think is lame. But if you want to send them, it's great because maybe YouTube will look more kindly on me, and not demonetize so many of my videos. By the way, guys, the other day when you were getting aggressively commercialized during my live stream, this is because YouTube normally first demonetizes my videos. And I was trying a little trick where I selected monetization first before the live stream goes live. Yeah, super chats help the algorithm, don't they? I guess they do. Yeah. But anyway, I was trying to select monetization before I. Shit, you're making me laugh. Why the people? I'm glad James mentioned the beeping. I got my steps in last stream, trying to find it in the house. Oh shit. Oh shit, you're dying. I'm dying. Oh god damn. That is funny. That is funny. Ken, thank you so much for that. Um Gifting memberships, that's really great. So anyway, I mean, we can go through all of this, and I think this is a useful. Even though this, I just want to. I'm hoping that in a few months that somebody does a poll like this again, and we see that the that the mood has improved. Because I got to tell you, you can imagine being in the war. Every time they hear something happens, oh, Kharkiv got bombed, and uh, or Odessa or Kherson or somebody, and every single time it's an emotional roller coaster for Ukrainians. You know, um, so yeah, um, yeah. So there we are. Um, so this is very interesting. Ukrainians want self-reliance. They value the support they receive from their foreign partners, um, but they ultimately want to do it on their own. Yeah. Okay. So these things are just incredibly important because Russia. All right. Now I know this is an older article, but I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you the new article. Russia is not gonna stop. Even if there's some kind of a ceasefire, this idea that Russia can be ground down with sanctions. By the way, hello, Matthias. Thanks for coming. And Mr. Nobia. Nobody. I didn't see you there before. And Richard Stevens. Thanks for joining. This idea that just sanctions alone are going to grind down Russia, I think we can see now that it's not enough. It's not enough. Bell, can we send greeting cards or postcards to you to give to the soldiers you meet with? Yeah, that's a great freaking idea. Christ almighty. I like that a lot. Talk to me on Discord and we'll set something up. Because I can't just go giving my, address publicly on YouTube here in the middle of Ukraine, but it's something that we could do. Yeah, okay. Why the people? Let's brainstorm on that. Leslie, if the USA and the West gave Ukraine everything they needed at the start, all this other shit around the world wouldn't be happening. Thank you. Exactly. Yeah. Why the people? I could do that too. Like you could email pictures of messages, and then when I go to visit units, that's a really good idea too. These are great ideas. Let's talk about it on their Discord. Yeah, you sent some to Andrew Mercado. That's really great. And okay, UTV and him. I will also donate 100 US for a flag. Okay, let's brainstorm on that a little bit. I like that idea a lot. Some of our viewers here do regularly or occasionally go to visit Ukraine, and in addition to just mailing it to me, we could kind of do a thing where they take it over the border with them. A few postcards or a flag is not a not too much in a suitcase. So that's a really awesome idea, Bell. That's freaking rad. But yeah, so this is Newsweek here, but so the article here is, Russian economy can sustain war indefinitely under two conditions. We need to be realistic about this. Spending on Russia's military is sustainable in the long term if the country's workforce is big enough, okay, and oil prices are high enough. It has been reported. So, yeah, that would be Manu. We could write them in Ukrainian. If you guys want to try writing little postcard things in Ukrainian, dude, Ukrainian soldiers would flip out. Yeah, sure, Con. There's not enough time this trip, but we could make it happen. Or I can just, give my address to someone in our group, in our Discord. That person can receive your letters, your postcards, what have you. And then, like, Bell, you could maybe, if you wanted something like that. And then, Bell, you could forward those on to me. Something of that nature. Dude, Bell, you're right. Bell says, I just know how important it is for them to have something that they can hold, not just read online. Dude, I'm that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Cheryl, where are my special emojis? Oh, I see. Nice. Actually, guys, tomorrow, Cheryl, that's actually going to be one of my topics tomorrow. I haven't put out the live stream event yet, but yeah, that's cool. The ones I sent with Andrew have a letter I typed up with English and translated into Ukrainian. Yeah, that's great. It would be great for morale. Yeah, like that's the sort of thing a dude would like carry with him in his, freaking pout right next to his chest all the time. Yeah, Yeah, Leslie, maybe we could have one person in the United States, one person in the EU, and maybe one person in Australia who could be like the central mailing point, and then you could send them to me. You know, um, Paul, Cyrillic is writing is pretty good, to be honest, better in Russian than Ukrainian. Well, to be honest with you, if nobody's gonna like be angry if you write, a heartfelt thank you note in Russian Cyrillic. I mean, everybody here speaks Russian as well. The rule is if you're online, here's the rule. All right, if you're online, you speak Ukrainian. You type in Ukrainian. If you go onto like a Ukrainian chat or something of that nature, and um, uh, start talking Russian, everybody's going to think that you're a bot or a troll or something. Um, K-Bell, I don't know. We have there's Aussie Bugga, and there's at least 2 or 3 Australians that regularly attend or watch. They usually watch the live streams after and leave a comment. So, um, uh, yeah, why the people? Though I live by an Air Force Base museum. Yes, or you mean postcards from the Air Force Base museum? Dude, are you kidding? I think Ukrainians would love some like pictures of American like F-16s or whatever, little postcards with like, and you could write like, "I hope you get one of these soon," something like that. That'd be rocking. Um, yeah, yeah, Cheryl, exactly. Trump wants to force a freeze that would allow Russia to build up and attack again. So, oh, Ozzy Bugga lives in Cambodia. Oh, that's right. You're right. I forgot about that. He said that. He told me about that before, and I forgot. But Ozzy, obviously. Um, well, thanks, Mary. Thanks for coming. Um, yeah, Join Layton. I'm watching from the get go. The press conference in the beginning, even though bipartisan, we all know that Graham only has eyes on Ukraine's minerals. Yeah, no, no. Lindsey Graham is, you know, even fellow senators say he's kind of a scumbag. But if that's what it takes to motivate some people, fine, fine. Thank you, Bill, for posting a letter in our Discord chat of, yeah, that's a great example. Um, so the point is that um, this is the sort of this whole it's the sanctions have been sort of trickle down onesie twosie at a time. The thing that's going to uh, put a real shock to the Russian economic system is it's going to take this level of sanctions. Okay, state sponsor of terrorism sanctions will put a real shock to the Russian war machine. And uh yeah, K-Bell, you're up at 1:50 in the morning. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. I mean, I wow, it's shocking. But thank you. Um if something like this could be combined with for example, some of the stuff that's coming in, Switzerland now is proposing, we're hoping, to allow re-export of their weapons to Ukraine. They have a literal crap ton. We've got this ammunition coming from uh, the Czech initiative coming in, and now it's really starting to roll in. Yeah, okay, Leslie, that's an interesting statement. Russia, let's see, Biden is afraid to call Russia a terrorist state because of nukes. Ooh. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's entirely possible. But okay, it's like calling someone a bully. So that, or I'm afraid to call someone a bully because I'm afraid they'll hit me. You know, like, um, it's like, it's stupid with a capital stew, is what that is. And that has been the the let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, this mindset here. I don't know who this guy is. Uh Timothy Garton Ash, but he made a good point. Playing not to lose mindset is hampering the West's support for Ukraine. That's the yeah. Real Dave Seaman, it's ironic, afraid to call them terrorists due to threats. I know, Leslie. It's like it doesn't make any sense. Okay, if you're gonna play the game, play to win. You know, and we need decisive. And I hate to say it. The only I'm gonna vote for Biden, and I like him. But the only time he's been decisive is when he pulled out of Afghanistan, in my humble opinion. You guys may disagree. If you have other examples to the contrary, please give them to me. Okay, and this is a problem with, frankly, Democratic small d leaders. We like them. We like them because we don't want leaders who are fascists and want to take more power. But the flip side of that is the people who have that mentality are more likely to be decisive, if you will, and take rapid action. Yes, the Biden administration has to grow some balls. Yeah, and don't even get me started on Jake Sullivan. You know, um, so this is the thing. I mean, it's finally starting to roll in, but this trickle down effect of a little bit of sanctions and a little bit of weapons, a little bit of technology. It's given the Russians the opportunity to adjust. It's given them the opportunity to adjust. Leslie, Biden only did that because Trump had an agreement. I mean, that's possible. You are possibly correct. I'm not saying you're possibly correct. I mean, I think that he could have done it better. Could have had more planning. I mean, maybe he should have withdrawn from Afghanistan when he did, but it wasn't planned out very well. It wasn't implemented very well. I'm getting off topic. I apologize. So this is, we have to turn this around, and this is a big part of that. Okay, so because otherwise we have to know that Russia's just going to keep on coming. We cannot think that, we can just keep going with what we're doing and Russia will no, they're not. They're not going to ever back down. And they're perfectly happy losing 1,000 soldiers a day. They're perfectly happy with that. It's sustainable if the country's long-term workforce is big, though. I think the next thing that we'll see is we will see North Koreans in Ukraine. Yeah. Cheryl says, I wrote to Biden, it's time to put the escalation management PowerPoint slides away. Yeah. The whole policy of escalation management needs to just be thrown out the window at this point. So where are we? We're coming up on an hour. Let's talk about some other news that's happening. Yeah. I want to talk about the Patriots. Now, this is, of course, from April. Okay. Have you guys noticed that all of a sudden, all these countries are providing Patriots, or pledging that they will provide Patriots for Ukraine. Why the people Mitt Romney for Prez 2012? I don't know. I think I think he was pretty indecisive too, but now I'm not so sure. That's the joke, right? Okay. So, this is the kind of decisive action that produces results. EU Parliament refuses decision on budget until members commit more patriots to Ukraine. They said, we will not, it was supported by 512 members of Parliament. Okay. That's like a super duper majority. And they said, I believe they said 7. We will not. So they set the budget. Okay. Specifically, they set the budget for the European Council, which is kind of like the executive body of the EU, I think, if I understand correctly. And now all these countries are popping up with, we're going to give you a Patriot. No, we're going to. And don't tell me that it has to do. I mean, I think there's a small percentage of this charity, shall we say, is coming from the fact that these countries care about Ukraine. I'm sure they do, but getting politicians in democracies to do anything is a difficult thing. This money talks, okay? And the EU Parliament did some pretty awesome stuff. It's going to be interesting to see if that holds up under the new Parliament. But I would dare say that this supermajority is still going to hold. And yeah, somebody mentioned earlier. Richard Stevens. Trump signed off on the deal with the Taliban while President of the United States. Pullout was scheduled to occur during Biden presidency. Yeah, you're right. I guess I would just say that it was implemented badly. Yeah, really. I mean, how many billions of dollars of weapons did we leave there? And in fact, I think I put out a pretty interesting video. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. UWN, I wouldn't expect to see North Koreans in Ukraine. They have a lot of troops at the South Korean border. I mean, I don't know. I think I just wouldn't be surprised. Mhm. Oh, wow, CZ. I was involved in trying to get an American, her staff, and shelter animals out of Afghanistan in August 2021. She was left behind. Holy crap. Really? Charlotte Maxwell Jones. I mean, did she survive? Good God. Okay. I remember Operation Pineapple Express. I remember that. 2 fabulous books you should read about the withdrawal out of Afghanistan are Operation Pineapple Express and Operation Ark. Astonishing Who Was Left Behind. Yeah, it's a serious black mark. Black mark is all I can say. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Richard Stevens, it's easy to say. I mean, I do not disagree with you. George W. Bush was a failure, but not a lot of people believed that at the time. I remember a lot of people thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread in 2001, 2002, even 2003, Yeah. No, I mean, I think we needed to get out of Afghanistan. Obviously, we should never have been there, or if we were going to be there, we should have gone all the way. Okay, and completely wiped out the Taliban. Completely. Herb, he just made me laugh. I still use that word now, misunderestimated. Sometimes I even use it unironically. That's how much it's gotten into the American parlance, Biden, okay, Cheryl, Biden delayed the Afghanistan pullout by several months. Didn't help that Trump never included the Afghan president in negotiations. And the Afghan president did a runner. And really, Charlotte went on to form relationships with the Taliban and had become a legend. Okay, yeah, okay. So she's still there. Oh my God. Okay, all right. I have to look that up. This is completely off topic. I'm going to save it for later. Charlotte, what? Charlotte, what's her name? Charlotte Maxwell Jones, Afghanistan. This is for later. I'm not going to talk about it. Charlotte Maxwell Jones, Afghanistan. All right. Okay, that's on my list. I will read about it. So yeah, look. The point is that Putler is scared when he sees this stuff, and that's why he says, "You're going to make a big mistake, South Korea, if you supply Ukraine." You know, um, Matthias. Does somebody want to tell Matthias? I've said it like 5 times now, so Matthias, I have no power because I'm in Ukraine, and my power shut off an hour ago, and will be off for another hour at least. So, so that is the sound of my battery backup system. It's not happening inside your head, and nor is it somewhere in your house. And I'm not in a hospital. I'm sorry. So yeah. Now I think I talked about this before, and a lot of people have spoken about this. Putin sacks 4 deputy defense ministers and appoints his relative. Uh, you know, this is Russia becoming more and more like North Korea. Okay, it's the North Koreanization of Russia. I'm sorry. I wish I tried to shut the beep off. I actually moved the battery as far away from my microphone as I possibly could in this room. Just every time you think about it, think about the freaking Russian bombs knocking out the power stations here, because that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Yeah. No, I got it, CZ. Charlotte Maxwell Jones. I will look it up. Yeah. So this whole thing, this has got Russia running scared, and this is the kind of thing that we need. We need, and it's good that these countries are finally pulling their heads out of their butts, or starting to. We need like an avalanche of support, defense support, weapons, all come at once, because at this level, Russia can continue indefinitely. Okay, so we need something that's going to make a big dent in that all at once, not just piecemeal. Okay, because that's the problem. That's the problem. And Ukraine's ready, I think, now. I mean, yes, they need more training, and they need to do a full draft and all of that. But this is I know this is from last week, but still, the Azov Brigade. We talked about this a few months ago, and I can't remember which one of you. Thank you, Why the People. James is legit. I don't know if I am or not, but I try. I have imposter syndrome like everyone else. The point is, Azov's ready. These guys, and the point I was just making, we talked about this a few months ago, that Azov needs to ditch its past, its bad past, its negative origins, and they've done that now. Ukraine is ready for this, and it needs to happen. This is the kind of thing that needs to come to get here and get here soon. Suitcase-sized laser weapon takes down drones in Australian army tests. Um, to be honest with you, though, I think that Ukraine just might develop this stuff, or at least get it to the battlefield sooner. Um, but this is the sort of technology. So here's a picture of it, I guess. The AIM Defense Counter UAS Directed Energy Weapons System. Boy, that's an acronym. Um, but companies and countries who are developing these weapon systems, they need to get them to Ukraine, man. Test them here. I mean, yeah, it sucks that the GLSDB didn't work, but try it again. Back to the drawing board. Do another one. This would be awesome. You push a button to track the drone and the computer takes over. Then you push another button to pull the trigger, just like a video game. That's rad. That could make a big freaking difference here. How fast can they make these is the question, right? But this is the type of thing that we need to see flooding. But Ukraine's technology is advancing, I would argue, faster. At least its drone technology and its war-related technology is advancing faster than any other country at this point. Oh, Project Constantine just went live. Well, that's good to know. I'm only going to go for another 15 minutes, guys. Sound good? And then you guys can jump on over to Constantine, or you can now, of course. I mean, what am I going to do? Leslie, did anyone see the new drone that detects mines out in the field? Yeah, I did, and I think I talked about it last stream. If I didn't, I meant to, but I'm pretty sure I talked about it last stream. Yeah, no, bad timing. Bad timing for Project Constantine. No, kidding. But there's so UHers now doing this. It's a good sign. Okay, it's great. Nothing wrong with it. I just gotta squeeze in where I can. I could have started earlier. I could have started an hour earlier and had power. Yeah. Okay, Herb. Thanks for coming. So, wow, CZ, this is really a story. It's very interesting. Thank you. I'm gonna go back and read it. But yeah, so Ukraine is basically not just essentially reverse engineering like the Russian Lancet, but they're designing drones to take out Lancets. So taking out a drone with another drone. Yeah, there are companies working on AI to overcome drones with electronic warfare, and that's an incredibly important thing. And I hope that Herb. Yes, I see parting fingers. Anyway, I would love to work on something like that. The deal with the electronic warfare is okay. Let me see if I can just ubiquity air view. If I can just kind of show you. So this is the kind of technology that I am used to working with here, and this is when you're looking at if you're looking at signals. This is a Wi-Fi signal, so this is in the 2.4 gigahertz range, or sorry, yeah, megahertz, whatever. The point I'm trying to say is, so this is a Wi-Fi signal, and you can see how big it is, how many channels it occupies. There is software that tries to. This is a big part of electronic warfare, is trying to find space within that spectrum where you can fit your signal where it's not going to be interfered with. And there's software that does that. A person will always do it better, but not as fast as the software. So a piece of some kind of learning software could, AI could basically shift channels because you have to constantly hop channels around. Um, yeah, and AI swarms of drones are just around the corner too. Yeah, well, it's scary, the technology that we are getting into. You know, um, so but Ukraine has this big attack that happened yesterday. Ukrainian hackers launched a large-scale attack affecting major Russian banks, making their service unavailable to some users. These are really cool things. However, in general, if they're not done simultaneously or uh, in a coordinated way with a kinetic attack, okay, then or with some sort of a hybrid thing. In other words, um, the IT army is just volunteers. They're like NAFO. They're just I have friends who Ukrainian, actually some of my students who are involved in it. And it's all done over like Telegram and other channels, and it's very much like anonymous. The Ukraine IT army, and they say, "Okay, who are we targeting today, guys?" Boom, boom. Um, Herb, did you work in AI? Herb says, "I feel like Oppenheimer." Um, yeah, well, uh, oh, okay. Yes, I see. All right. Well, anyway, um, you see now, Mr. Nobody. That is where I kind of draw the line. There's also tech and development for drones to accurately identify targets with the help of AI. And I can tell you, I've personally been approached by drone companies looking for someone to help them with that. And luckily I was able to say I don't know a lot about AI. Sorry. Just because I worked at NASA doesn't mean in Silicon Valley doesn't mean I automatically am a data scientist, or a, a AI prompt engineer or something. Although I think I could be an AI prompt engineer. I think a monkey could be that. Anyway, I digress. Oh, encrypted comms as it relates to munitions delivery. That is very interesting, Herb. That's a big job. Uh, anyway, so this is positive stuff that's happening with technology in Ukraine, and I think that when Ukraine kind of finally gets uh, gets its head around uh, not just combined arms warfare, but hybrid combined arms warfare, it's going to be a real powerhouse. So combining, IT disruption, electronic warfare with the problem though is the generals and the comms. Well, I've gone on about it before, so enough about that. Let's talk about some good things and some bad things. Um, First of all, uh, where is the article about Spain? Yeah. Spanish authorities dismantle criminal group involved in sexual exploitation of Ukrainian women. We've talked about this and like who are these guys who were, for example, you know, when the war first started, picking up vulnerable women at the border and saying, "I'll give you a ride to wherever," and never see them again. And uh, the suspects allegedly lured Ukrainian women with promises of refugee visas, financial support, and employment. They've been operating since 2020, posing as managers of a staffing agency. Wow. Wow. You know, um, The group reportedly targeted women based on their nationality, bringing them to Spain on tourist visas. The thing about it is that Spain, especially for Ukrainians, Spain is very liberal. They have special laws. Basically, if you're a Ukrainian, you just go to Spain, man. If you are a refugee, doesn't matter where you are right now. Go to Spain, get your refugee status in Spain, and then you can go wherever you want in the EU. Okay, do that. That's my advice. If you're Ukrainian and you want to leave Ukraine, or you're already outside of Ukraine, go to freaking Spain. I have a couple of friends who made the mistake of going to like Germany or Norway, and they're all caught up in all this bureaucracy and you're having a terrible time or at least at most a mediocre time in Germany, for example. Go to Spain. But not everybody knows that. Okay. Upon arrival in Spain, the women were instructed to apply for temporary protection related to the Russian-Ukraine war, which is really easy to do. However, instead of receiving work permits as promised, they were forced into prostitution. So, it's just it's awful. So I'm glad that they got caught, but I feel like there's more. I guarantee you there's more out there, and it's sick, But let's talk about some good news. Yeah. EU Council approves opening of accession negotiations with Ukraine and Moldova. This is a little bit old news, but let's take a look at this. Okay. This is big. This is important. The European Union and Ukraine will sign a security agreement on June 26th. That's a big deal. I don't know what the security agreement is going to be, but let's see. It deals with not only military aid to Ukraine, but also with financial support, European integration. It's to me, this is big. Now, it's not the same as joining, okay, but it's like a step in the right direction. It's not as powerful as signing a security agreement to join NATO, but it's stuff in the right direction. Okay, so things are moving in the right direction. We just need more, and we need it faster. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to this. If you're an American, write your senator, call your congressman. This bill needs to be passed. It's massively, massively important. Because, and I think it's going to come more to the fore as Russia continue. Putin's shooting himself in the foot because you piss people off enough, and they're gonna do something about it. They're gonna do something about it. So, I'm sorry, Herb. I apologize. We'll end it there, guys. Oh, no, I have one more thing I wanted to talk about. It's this one right here. This is cool. Ukrainian company Novoposhta receives International Logistics Oscar. So I didn't know that there was an Oscar for the prestigious World Post and Parcel Awards, but apparently Novoposhta, which is a private company, but it means new post is what that means. And Herb, I want to just thank you for coming, and I want to say that you don't know. Probably you do, but and you're right. Maybe the consequences of research and stuff that you worked on. I'm sure everyone who worked in the armed forces and every soldier has to think about that. But think about the fact that maybe some of that is helping Ukraine right now. And as long as America and the United States stay on the side of justice and truth and democracy, um, why do people? Thank you for spending your electricity storage on us. Thank you. I will. I will thank my wife and her mom. Um, but seriously, Herb. You know, as long as those weapons are used for the side of good, for the side of freedom, for the side of democracy in a just way, that's what we have to do. We have to hold our government's feet to the fire and make sure that they're not just following, economic interests, like these people like Lindsey Graham who just want Ukraine for their minerals. No, there's more to it than that. There's a morality to this war, and we have to make sure that we stay on the right side. And there are some times when I falter in that too. You know, I want to put some Russian heads on pikes and drive around with severed Russian heads on my truck or whatever. But we have to say no. We must stay on the side of what's right. Okay, so that's where I'll leave it, guys. Have fun with Project Constantine. I hope you go check him out. I will. And CZ, thank you for turning me on to that amazing story. And again, all I can say to you guys is support these two groups here. We've got a fundraiser to buy a truck for Alpha Company of the 1st Battalion of the International Legion, and it's going to be about $3,000, which I got to tell you, that's pretty goddamn cheap. $3,000 for a truck, and I mean a reasonably decent truck, is freaking cheap. Okay, and these guys will thank you, and his cat will probably thank you too. And secondarily, if you'd like to help the drone war, you can help. This is about as direct as you can get, because these parts are going directly to the drone lab there in the eastern part of Ukraine, real close to the front line. That's where they're making these drones and all that stuff. So thank you, everyone. Oh, Leslie, I was just about to say, remind me of that. Leslie, thank you very much for and Real Dave Seaman. Put that on my to-do list, and I'll try to get that done this weekend, because you're right, that's super important. Thank you all, everyone. Take care, everybody. Herb, I hope you are feeling better soon.